cool. And let's go to, I got the wrong background. We'll put up the bar, why not? I kind of like the Borg lights, though. We'll see how that goes. Alright. And Darth Maul's first in the house. Good to see you, Darth. I'm just getting things set up so that we're just going to have a little chat while I also am going to attempt to play a little bit of this Path of Exile event that just started a few minutes ago. I'm not at all thinking that I am going to be competitive in the event. I just figured I would check it out. And yes, Thomas, I am a bit early because I am freaking happy as a happy person can happily be. I don't generally do open line shows, but we're doing an open line show today because I am that freaking stoked right now. But I will warn you, and I will say this a few times, please, for the love of God, if you care about The Mandalorian, don't watch this live stream because I'm going to talk about it. And you do not want to know how this episode ends if you care. Now, that being said, holy crap, did you guys see that episode? Now, the most says that Star Wars girl was in tears. I'm not surprised. Yes, Bird, I will be talking spoilers. So and come on in. Oh, and I see Elihu, however you say your name, is here. How you doing?
I am good, and I loved Mandalorian.
Holy crap! Star Wars is back, baby. Star Wars is effing back.
Do you know I want to kill Pickles?
Why? What did he spoil it before you saw it or something?
Well, I got a notification at 3 o'clock this morning, and the little image in the icon said, "Luke, who's back?" I'm like, "Oh, gee, thank you."
He did that at 3 o'clock in the morning, when the show first dropped?
Yep.
That is lame.
I wanted to strangle him.
I will personally, if he comes on to the Untitled show tonight, I will personally slap him for you because that.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I'll tell you. Granted, I will say this: the second I saw that X-wing,
yes, I know who that is. Yeah, without that little spoiler, yes.
Yeah, as soon as I saw the X-wing, I was like, "Holy crap!"
And then the green lightsaber.
Yeah. Then the green lightsaber, and you're like, "Oh my God, are they really doing this? Are they really, really doing this?" And yeah, and not only and here's the thing, and I've been dying to talk to someone about this all day because this to me was the counter to the climactic scene at the end of Rogue One.
Oh, with Vader. I mean, with Darth Maul. Oh, Vader, yes.
No, the Vader scene when Vader just tore through all those rebels. Okay. And so, we got to see, and no, Bird, yeah, get out of here if you care. But when we got to see Vader at the end of Rogue One just slice through all those people, right? And that was cool. It was awesome, and why am I not seeing? Oh yeah, I got to join flashback. I'm sitting there getting all excited. So what kind of character do you think I should play here in this new thing? I got to do the Templar. That's the only thing I'm any good at.
A healer.
No, he's kind of like the Diablo 2 paladin.
Oh, okay. He's a warrior magician. Gotcha.
Yeah, you can build a melee fighter class out of him, and you can also build a pure caster out of him. So he's got good elements of both. He's my favorite class to play. If you want pure caster, you go with the witch. If you want pure melee, you go with, I don't know what the other guy's called. He's like a barbarian type of class here, the marauder. This guy here. He's your pure warrior. This is your pure caster over here. But here's a cool thing about. Have you played Path of Exile? I'm assuming you haven't played it yet.
No, I haven't. But I'm partial to DPS characters.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you. First of all, get the game. It's free.
Is it available on Mac?
I do not know. Do you have Steam?
Yes, I do.
All right, well, it is on Steam, so do a quick search.
Let me open up Steam. Where does Steam go? Come on, what the hell are you?
But yeah, and that's why I keep telling people, look, it's 100% free. They have microtransactions in game, but the microtransactions are just are skins. There's you can't pay to win. It's not even possible. And so now my phone goes off.
Now, what's it called exactly? How do you spell it?
Path of Exile.
Oops, shit, can't pop up. Hang on. Path of Exile.
Mm-hmm.
Here it is, free to play. Is it available for Mac? Yes, it is.
Oh, there you go. You should download that puppy.
I'm doing it right now.
Yeah, what kind of build am I going to go for? I was debating about like the Marauder. I've never really played through much as the Marauder, but I like that he's kind of tanky, and I like that because there's a lot of mods in this flashback event. These events they do, which is kind of a cool thing, they do these like quick... The last couple events have only been 1 week. This is a 3-week event. So basically, the character you roll and all the loot you get is gone after 3 weeks. But if you hit level 50, you get basically a mystery box of skins and stuff for your main characters. And then the top players in several different categories will get other like skins, and like the top 5 players in the entire thing will get like a unique sword of some kind.
Ooh.
So which is pretty cool. But I'm not going to be anywhere near that. I know that. I'm not that good. All right, so... But yeah, so at the end of Rogue One, Darth Vader cuts through those rebels, and everybody was like, wow, this is the Darth Vader we always wanted to see, not whiny Anakin Skywalker, right? And so at the end of Mandalorian, and I'm assuming, I haven't heard anything official, but I'm assuming this is the end of the Mandalorian series.
Did you watch the after credits?
Oh, no, I didn't even realize there's an after credits scene.
Holy shit.
Okay,
I'm going to say this. Holy shit, Michael.
Okay.
How the hell?
No, I'm logging into Disney Plus right now. I better stop sharing screens because I don't want to spoil it for anybody that hasn't seen it. All right, so I'll stop sharing. And fortunately, the audio's not. You won't be able to hear it. So, I did not realize because I was me and the wife were talking about how awesome it was, and we just stopped it. So. Usually I watch the credits because I like the artwork.
The artwork, that's what I do. I'm like, where's your artwork? I'm looking at the time index. I'm like...
Well, that's what it was. There was no artwork, and I was like, oh, well, okay, we'll just stop watching then.
I looked at the time index. I'm like, why is there 3 minutes left? Is there 3 minutes of credits for this one episode? I'm like, oh, okay. End credit scene. Cool.
All right, so I'm go... Why am I getting all this crap? All right, let's go search. And...
Yes, if you have not seen The Mandalorian yet, or if you have, there is an end credit scene. There is.
Yeah, thank you for telling me that.
You're totally welcome, man.
Yeah, so you're gonna get to see my official. Because I was already about as happy as I could be after watching that episode. So I don't know.
Okay.
All right.
Change your title to live reaction for didn't see the end scene.
I'm not gonna change it now. Come on now. I'm too lazy for that. Jeez. And all right, so man, I gotta say I've just got the episode started up, and I love seeing the Imperial shuttle again too. That was a really cool thing.
That was cool.
All right, so. And man, the episode was only 40-odd minutes long. That I know
it was rumored to be 51, but it didn't turn out to be that way.
Okay, wow, that's a lot of end credits time.
Yeah, just because there's an end credit scene.
Okay,
I thought there's a lot of credits for this episode. I'm like, damn, a lot of people worked on this episode. Wow, okay.
All right, so here we go. I'm almost there.
Okay.
I did see we got a glimpse of Jabba's palace, so just from scrolling. So let's see here.
Okay, play from the Two Suns.
Yep, we're at Tatooine.
Okay.
Camera's panning over. Yep, there's Jabba's palace.
Remember, Jabba's dead.
That's true. There's the pig guys, or I'm sorry, the. Oh, so he's in charge now, huh?
Don't worry about the closed captioning; it'll come on.
Yeah.
The translation.
Yeah. All right. So very reminiscent of Luke's entrance.
Mm-hmm. I hear blasters.
Yeah. All right. So it's a sniper chick. Letting the Twi'lek go. Okay, that looks like Boba from the shadow. Because I see the antenna.
Mm-hmm. Wait for it.
So Boba just straight up murders that dude. Oh, so he's going to take over Jabba's organization.
Wait for it.
This looks like the end of Conan. The Book of Boba Fett. So that's going to be the next show then.
The surprise announcement.
December. Man, I don't know. That's a long ways away.
I know, but surprise announcement.
Hurts.
I love that.
That's cool though. Yeah. So we are getting a Boba Fett series confirmed. Then I know that a lot of people wanted that, but MC says Star Wars no longer exists. Just say, MC, you are so wrong. Star Wars is back. It truly and if you didn't see this last episode of The Mandalorian, you don't know what you're talking about. I just got to say, it's that good.
During the production meeting, they said 10 new Star Wars, but they announced 9 Star Wars in a Willow. I'm like, wait a minute, what's the 10th one? Boba Fett Chronicle.
Yeah. Not bad. Now, but you see, now there's still no, and Preston says there will be a season 3 of Mando. I haven't heard anything official on it, but Luke dies of COVID in the end credits. And by the way, come on, guys! I never do freaking open lines. Come on up. Let's hang out. By the way, 15 hours ago, last night when I was live streaming, Joe Biden donated $1 and I missed it. And he said, "I'm sorry you're quitting, Michael. Matthew, please show some nipples." And number 22. Sorry about that, Joe Biden. I did not see. I don't know why, but my system didn't update and show me that. All right, so what am I going to name this guy?
He's a warrior, correct?
Yes, well, look at him. Does he look like he's like an executive accountant or something?
I was thinking more like a shoe salesman.
He's hitting himself in the head with a war hammer. Just
Hammerhead.
for fun.
Hammerhead.
Let's see. That's come on. And Hammerhead doesn't sound like something I would be. Because if people are in the game, I want them to know it's me.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I already have an anti-checker. I already have a Michael J. Crawford. Man, that looks like it hurts every time he hits himself.
A.T. Basher.
A.T. Basher. All right. So see what this, because with these events, the normal game mode it has several mods in it. So like you'll all of a sudden get these weird things that spawn in the game that make it like 10 times more difficult, but also give you 10 times more loot. And no, Thomas, I actually did have Streamlabs up last night when we were streaming, and it did not come in. I don't know why. The last thing I saw in Streamlabs when we finished the show last night was that Beatboxing Troy had subscribed, but the funny thing is, like the $10 super chat we got last night, that never showed up either, and it's still not in there. I don't know. It's kind of weird. And Robert says, just saying Sith wear black. Did you not see Return of the Jedi? Come on. Seriously? You're gonna
I was waiting for you to see that, man.
and yeah, you know what? But here's the thing. This is the beauty of it. And this is why I keep telling people, look, if you haven't seen this episode, I don't care. You know, I'd never ever encourage this, but if you have to, go to the high seas and watch this. If you're so dead set that you're not going to support Disney, fine. Go to the high seas and watch it, and then support Disney. Because damn it, we need to show them the love for this. If they're going to give us good Star Wars again, we need to show them we appreciate it. Because if we don't, we're never going to get good Star Trek again.
Yeah,
Right?
I saw that glove. I'm like, yep. You have the X-Wing fighter, you have the green lightsaber, you have the glove. I'm like, okay, yep, we got 3 confirmations.
Right. And I kept, it was so funny because while it was happening, that whole sequence where they were and they were doing it on purpose, where they would keep the face hidden and all that. And through that whole thing, I was like, okay, could it? No. And I was trying to figure out ways to prove it wasn't Luke.
And what color sword was lightsaber was Ezra? Did Ezra have?
Ezra. Oh, I don't know, because I never got into Rebels, so I don't know.
People were speculating it would be Ezra show up.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I never got into Rebels, but I know who Ezra is, and you mentioned it, but I don't know what color his blade was. I was expecting at first I was thinking Ahsoka when we saw it on the monitor. But then when I saw the green blade, I was like, okay, that's out, because they already confirmed she has the white blades. We saw that in the prior episode. Mm-hmm. So then, and then when the way that he was very slight of build, and I was sitting there going, well, Luke is a pretty small guy, but it could also be a woman, So I was like, not sure. But yeah, once he pulled the hood back, and I was like, oh. You guys. And the beauty of it is, and I think the reason that the de-aging tech, I think, really worked here was that we saw Luke as we've never seen him before, which is older than Jedi, but younger than Mark Hamill is today. He had a couple of lines on him, but not so much that, because he's not like old like he is now. Yeah. And so I think that helped, because I think part of the problem with digital Leia and digital Tarkin, even though I think overall they did a good job with it, the problem there is that we've seen the actual characters looking exactly like what they're supposed to look like. So the subtle differences mess us up. But if we're seeing that character, aged 5-10 years from that, okay, this is not Luke that we've seen before. This is Jedi Master Luke.
I liked what they did to Tarkin, but I did not like what they did to Leia because her face looked too shiny.
Right. And I know that a lot of people didn't like the Tarkin and Leia CG. It didn't really bother me, to be frank, but I at the same time, I understand people that didn't like it. I get it. And so but man, there. If you anybody that thinks that Star Wars is dead, watch this episode. And the funny thing is, I know a lot of people, including good friends of mine, not going to call anybody out, Life with Matthew, but there were people that were saying that this episode was going to go like the full woke train, right? Because of the fact that you have all these girls involved. You have Cara Dune, you have Bo-Katan, I can't remember that sniper's name that works with Boba Fett. And Cara Dune's sidekick, who I don't know what her name is, Bo-Katan's sidekick that appeared in the prior episode. And so we have a team that's basically 2 guys and 4 chicks, right? And so a lot of people were sitting there thinking, okay, this is the woke train. This is, girl power and all that. But it never felt like that. It never felt like, oh, let's throw all the girls together. Just tee hee hee, we're better than the boys, right? Boba Fett piloted Slave One because he's the only one that could. Mando went solo to get Baby Yoda because he's the only one that could. That left the 4 women to basically be a fire team and act as a distraction, and they did their job well. And one thing that I've complained about, like Discovery is horrible about this, but in any kind of franchise, when you have strong female characters, it's perfect. And we are hypocrites if we don't, stick with this. It's perfectly okay to have strong female characters as long as you're not denigrating the men by having the women to make the women appear stronger, which is what they did in Last Jedi. They made all the men are suddenly complete buffoons, and the women are the only competent people. In this, yes, Bo-Katan is a badass. Yes, Cara Dune is a badass. But you know what? Mando is the one that beats the crap out of Moff Gideon, not Bo-Katan, which is what I was expecting.
I'm waiting for the fight between Bo-Katan and Mando.
Right. And in fact, technically speaking, if they, Mando now has a claim to the throne, not Bo-Katan. And so, but I was totally expecting it to set her up. So, because she, he's mine, right? Because she knew she needs to get the blade in combat. Now, I assume that's something that was established back in the Clone Wars days, because I didn't see that.
And I believe it was established in Rebels. Whoever held the black saber had the right to rule Mandalorian.
Right, but I mean the whole thing where they were saying that you can't just give someone the saber; it has to be won in combat. Is that something that they?
I believe they did that in the Rebels. I haven't seen Rebels. I just basically know the basic storyline, but I believe that's something they covered because in Mandalorian they're basically incorporating the movies and the cartoons,
right,
and the comic books and the movies and the video games.
And Thomas says, well, Matthew is weird. Who wears an undershirt under a toga? Well, Matthew does, obviously.
Yeah.
So, yes, he is a weirdo. But, yeah, so I was, Mando was actually more of a badass in this episode than he was in any other episode in the series.
I called it about the spear. I mean, he trained hard with his in Game of Thrones. He had that spear fighting scene on the transport. I'm like, okay. His blasters are going to be useless against Moth, so he's going to have to fight with that spear, Beskar spear.
Right, and that was a nice fight, and it's funny because they made it so that he was, he basically beat. I don't know, was this character, was Moff Gideon in Rebels or Clone Wars or anything?
Yes, he was in Rebels.
Is he a Force user or is he just a badass?
Badass.
Okay. Because I like the fact that, what we saw there was an epic fight. But it also, when Luke came in, it's like, okay, this is a whole other level now. Right? Because, like, if Luke were part of the squad, the fight would have lasted all of 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And Luke would be the king of Mandalore. That would be. And why is nobody coming on the stream? What are you guys afraid of?
What the hell? Hey, listen. I'm actually getting a word in, so don't worry about that part, okay?
I'm just shocked that nobody's coming up to talk about that. Maybe you guys just haven't watched it. But if you haven't, what are you doing here? Go watch it.
Please. And watch the end credit scene.
Yes. And Dreamers out there says Gideon is not in animation, only Mando. I'm not sure what you mean there. Preston says let's see. So what does it mean if Luke is wearing black but wielding a green lightsaber? It means that he was wearing black and wields a green lightsaber. But that's what he was. The significance of that was just that the way that he was dressed was exactly the same as the last time we saw him.
In Return of the Jedi.
Right. And so it's so funny because I know that, like there have been the rumor things, people talking about how they're going to try to retcon away the sequel trilogy, and those few people that are big fans of the sequel trilogies were outraged about that idea. I don't think they're going to retcon away the history. I genuinely don't think they're going to do that.
I really like the comment when he said, "I was on the Death Star," and she replied, "Which one?"
Actually, one thing that I thought was kind of cool was, and something that I've mentioned a couple of times, and John DeMarco saying Gideon was a new character in Mandalorian. Okay. I don't know because I didn't watch all of. I've seen like the first 3 seasons of Clone Wars, but I will tell you, after watching this season of Mando, I'm seriously wanting to go back and watch the rest of Clone Wars and then Rebels because I want to get more of that backstory.
I'm binge watching season 1 right now, Clone Wars.
Darth Maul won the Darksaber in combat in Clone Wars, and he became ruler of Mandalore. Well, he's obviously not there now, because I assume, but I don't know what the status of the Darksaber was at the end of Rebels. And then it was one from Darth Maul in Rebels. Bo-Katan earned the right to wield it. That's right. So they kind of did hint at that she had it in the past, but then she lost it. And so, no, she doesn't have... And that's... and again, correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm missing something in the lore, but at least the way they set it up in this episode, it's very clear that if you lose it, you don't just get to take it back. You need to win it back in combat. That's the only way to transfer ownership of this blade.
Yeah, it's the story. It's the legend of it. You actually did something to earn it. You just can't say, "Here, go. I got this thing, sword."
Right.
Okay, what gives you the right to have it? Well, right. I earned it in a fight. Yeah.
Right. But if somebody else takes it from you, then yeah, you need to earn it back. Mm-hmm. You don't get to just say, "Oh well, I had it before. It's legally mine. I'm going to sue you." That doesn't work. Let's see, armor and life or life and damage.
You're a warrior, so I will go with damage.
Yeah, I'm. Well, you see,
I'm up armor.
Yeah, and I'm gonna put at least a little bit as we move on towards the Templar side to get some of the defensive spells. I want to use Smite, which is going to require some intelligence. So let's see, what do we got here? Fireball is Smite available yet? That's my favorite melee attack. There it is. Haha.
I'll have to read up on the instructions in the tutorial before I play.
I'll tell you, well, kind of a cool thing about it, like you can kind of see this is my inventory, right? Mm-hmm. So, unlike Diablo, pretty much 99% of, well, basically anything that's a weapon, shield, helm, chest piece, boot, or glove, all of those items are all socketed. It's not like, in Diablo, like socketed made it kind of rare.
Yeah.
Everything has sockets in this. But the reason sockets are so plentiful is that's where your skills are in these gems. So Smite is a skill. I put it in the gem or in the socket. As long as it's in that socket, then as I earn experience, that gem will level up. If I take the gem out, I stop leveling that gem. So you want to keep... so Smite is going to probably end up being my primary attack, so you want to start leveling it as early as possible. And then when you see, like here with these 2 gem slots, you see that little line that connects the 2? Mm-hmm. That means they're linked, so you can put a support gem in there, and you see, like with this one, the Ruthless support, every 3rd attack with a supported melee attack deals a Ruthless blow, which will do 75% extra damage. So there's 1 million support gems, and the color coding becomes important. The red gems are basically strength-based skills, blue gems are intelligence-based skills, green gems are dexterity-based skills. And so the cool thing is that any character can basically do anything if you get the right gems and you have the right attributes. So like the passive skill tree is insane. I don't know if you saw that. This is the skill tree Remember I was saying I had, this is where you start, so I had a choice between melee
Yeah.
damage and all that, right? Watch when we scroll out from this tree.
Shit.
All right.
Whoa.
Yeah, this is crazy. Now, right here, so this is where the Marauder class starts. The Templar starts here. The Witch starts here. And so the only thing that changes with the different characters is your base starting stats. So you can see on him, he starts out with 32 strength, 14 intelligence, 14 dex. Because he is the pure strength character. If you are the pure dex character, then it's 32 dex, 14 strength, 14 intelligence, right? Then the characters in between, like the Templar is in between strength and intelligence. So he'll have, I think it's like something like 20 strength, 20 intelligence, and 14 dex to start.
Okay.
But then every time you earn a passive skill point, which you earn one for every level, and you also get them for various rewards for quests, then you can place anywhere in this tree as long as it's linked back to your first one. So I can from here I can go to this one or this one, and then so on down the tree. And
Gotcha.
that's how you modify your character. So like these are strength, so each one of these adds 10 to strength, so I can build up strength. Here's an intelligence node, and then you can find like if you want to specialize over here, we got some weapon stuff. So if you want to use maces, you want to get all these skills because they all enhance mace damage versus axe damage versus sword damage and all that. And how you doing, Positive Candor? Please tell me you're in a good mood today.
Oh yeah.
Awesome sauce.
I mean, I only have one minor gripe with this
What's that?
past episode. Just the de-aging effect, basically.
I didn't think they did a bad job with it.
I liked it.
No, but you could tell.
Well,
yeah,
you
of
could.
course.
The only reason you knew it is because you know what Mark Hamill looks like.
Well, you
I
know,
mean, honestly, if you had never seen Star Wars before and you watched Jedi and then you watched this, you would say this was made a few years later. You wouldn't necessarily immediately jump to this is a CG character. We just know he's a CG character because that's the only way you could have done it.
yeah. So I'm guessing that obviously there was a stunt double doing most of the stuff while he's cloaked, and then
I'm wondering if it was actually Mark Hamill himself because he is listed in the credits.
yeah, he was
and-
listed in the credits.
Yeah. I wonder how
Although
much
he's not
he
that
did.
skinny anymore, so I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
I wonder actually how much he actually did because he did tweet an hour ago. Seen anything good on TV lately?
yeah, I mean, yeah, they wrapped up this season perfectly.
71,000 likes.
On Mark Hamill's tweet.
Yeah,
Yeah. 25,500 retweets, 10,000 comments. Wow.
yeah, I mean,
But yeah, so because I know you've been kind of down on the Mandalorian the last few episodes.
well, I was down on the whole the tragedy. To me, was the episode that was kind of the worst, almost besides the spider episode. Just because in that episode the Dark Troopers were kind of, almost meaninless.
well, they're the ones that captured Yoda, or
Yeah, Grogu.
however he's Grogu.
Yeah.
Yeah, Grogu.
Grogu.
Yeah, yeah, but still, it was pretty cut and dry. They basically just landed, picked them up, and went back up. Kind of no real action to speak of, which they obviously saved for this. But then in this episode again, they're almost useless. All they can do is pound against the door. Two of them, really? That's kind of. I have a slight complaint. Why didn't they split off or something? And so you have rows and rows of them, and back of the main two pounding at the door. That kind of didn't make sense, but whatever.
Well, I don't know. I mean, they just slowly had to punch their way through the blast doors. I don't know why it didn't make sense to you.
Well, I mean,
They
just why they didn't split up, basically, and there had to be more than one way into that frickin' thing besides the blast doors. But
I don't know. Every time we've seen Star Wars bridges under siege in the past, that is pretty much how it's done. There's like remember Phantom Menace even. Close the blaster doors, and then
yeah, and then
and so that's just how you seize the bridge on a ship in Star Wars. And I don't know. I thought overall that I thought the droids were cool in that unlike Mrs. Antichecker talked about hey, they don't suck like battle droids.
They have Beskar plating, I guess, on the outside.
Well, they didn't really say what they're made of, except that we know that they're blaster proof, but they're not lightsaber proof, so it's not pure Beskar, whatever it is, because Luke was slicing right through.
Right, which
means they cannot be made of Beskar.
Yeah,
Well, speaking of droids, I'm very upset about Favreau for what he did to R2.
Just saying. So Thomas, I did not see Dreamers Out There's comments before he deleted it, so I don't know what he said. But anyway, so what were you starting to say? Didn't mean to, because I'm trying to keep up with the chat, but it's impossible when you're talking to people.
R2 is about the best, one of the other best parts of the episode to me.
I know, but I'm upset what he did. He's still pulling George Lucas. He's censoring every single word he said. Beep, 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 beep.
Oh, jeez. Seriously?
No,
actually, it's funny because seeing Grogu next to R2, I was joking with the wife. It's like R2's sitting there going, "Yeah, I used to be considered cute." Then the stupid BB-8 comes along, and then BB-8's little friend, and now I quit. That's what R2 was saying.
Yeah. Yeah. To me, this means they're obviously going to redo the sequel trilogy.
I don't think so. No. I do not think they're you know what this does open up the door for, though, as far as future film franchise, is what we know. Think about what we've learned in the greater lore of Star Wars. Dreamers Out There, they've been deleting spoilers. You don't have to worry about it unless somebody is, honestly, we're going to be probably getting into some spoiler territory before the stream is done. So I'm not overly concerned about it.
Probably.
Yeah. We've already talked about the biggest one.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry if that's like the most breathtaking moment of the series is when you realize who you're about to see in combat. And yeah. So, but anyway, back to, if you look at the larger lore issue that we've seen here, is that we now know that prior to Kylo Ren, Luke had whatever species Yoda is, who had a high midichlorian count, which I love the fact that they had to change it to M count because, everybody was offended by midichlorians. But he has a high midichlorian count. He obviously is very gifted with the Force. He's able to use it just intuitively. And Luke is now training him. And so what that tends to imply is that even after the sequel trilogy, and we know how long Grogu / Yoda species lives, at least 800-900 years, so we can set a movie now 200-300 years from now, and Grogu can be the Jedi Master.
Yeah, but where was Grogu during all this Palpatine and Rey bullshit?
Well, obviously hidden.
Right, and Grogu is also, while he is basically an infant for his species, so it's not like Grogu is, really a combatant.
Right.
Even against stormtroopers, he was struggling.
Yeah, that's true.
Where Yoda literally shrugged off the best guards that Palpatine had.
Yeah, Luke. They'll probably explain it away whether he hit him on Dagobah or wherever.
Tatooine, probably. That's where everybody seems to go in this franchise.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with them not even saying where he took him
Right.
to, but obviously he probably hit him away from, because he's not exactly ready yet
Right.
to. Yeah, he could do some force training with him, but not the total deal until he
Oh, okay.
grows older type deal. And
Oh, and John was saying you were removing spoilers from Clone Wars and Rebels. Honestly, don't panic about it. I'm gonna watch it eventually, but if I get the spoilers, I'm not. I mean, come on. I already saw how it all ends up, so it's okay. I'm not gonna freak out. And I know enough about the backstory to I'm shocked. Katie Sackhoff is a Mandalorian. No, I've already seen that.
It's like going into watching Black Widow. You know she's going to live after the series, so come on.
Right.
Yeah, so the Mandalorian has the Darksaber now, right?
Yes.
Correct.
So the Mandalorian has claim to the throne.
Right. And they did have, at the time, I thought, a throwaway line where she said, once we're done, you can come back to Mandalore with us.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, okay, to that, right?
Right.
So, do you think next season is them on Mandalore? I guess
That's a possibility, or that's the thing. That's why I mean, do we know for certain that there's going to be a season 3?
Yeah.
Well, there may be a Mandalorian crossover in some of the episodes that can take place in the same time frame.
Yeah, there's for sure.
Well, I mean, I'm sure he's going to show up in like the Boba Fett series and stuff. But I'm just saying, like, do we know that Mandalorian season? Like, have they actually announced Mandalorian season 3 officially?
I have not read anything because the premise of basically the series was, what was his quest? His quest was to deliver the child to his people. He did that. His quest is done. Yeah.
And the funny thing is that as soon as they said that, I said, it's too bad they can't. Back when season 1 was happening, I was like, it's too bad they can't bring in Luke Skywalker, because that's really who he needs.
Well, I think they'll have 1 to 2 more seasons of The Mandalorian. And then I think the Rangers of the New Republic could, in a way, have him included in certain episodes.
Right.
Especially if it's Cara Dune related or even Bo-Katan related, depending on how they're going to do that one. And I could see him also showing up maybe in the Book of Boba Fett series,
Right.
which I thought was awesome. How they snuck that in at the after the post credits.
The unannounced spoiler show. Yes, the unannounced special.
And I don't.
Jeff Dealer's in the house. How you doing? As Captain Trek's here as well. Welcome, Captain Trek. There's plenty of room if you want to come join us and talk about. We're talking Mandalorian mainly, but just hanging out. Go ahead, Positive.
You might have to repost the link.
The thing is that people complained about how Grogu was using the Force choke on the troopers, but yet
Luke did it.
Luke did it.
Yeah, it's Jabba's palace.
Droid to the droid, and nobody has a problem with that. So
Luke did it at Jabba's palace. Come on.
Right. Back in Jedi, he was choking out the pigmen.
Right.
I didn't have a problem with Grogu.
Force choke is not exactly a dark power.
Oh.
Right. The only thing we've seen exclusively by Darksiders is lightning.
And that was Rey.
Well, and then there's Rey, but and Rey did. I forgot about that because Rey used lightning and she was not a Darksider. So I mean, say what you want as far as liking or hating Rey.
Yoda.
It's not about
Yoda.
Yoda did not cast lightning. Yoda reflected it.
Oh, that's right. Your skills as a Darksider are impressive. That's right.
But so I mean honestly, I think of I don't think that the Force is, even though I know in the games and stuff they do this, but I don't think of the Force as having a light side set of powers and a dark side set of powers.
No.
As much as it's just your ability to to wield the Force, and your dark side, light side is about what you're using the Force to accomplish, not what you're able to do. And NB Geeks says, "Can I join?" Yeah, I put the link in there.
I didn't see it.
It might have disappeared by now.
Make sure you're on live chat.
That's why I asked if you can repost the link, because I don't
know what it is, because sometimes I'll post it a couple of times here. I'm sorry, I posted the link like 3 or 4 times, so we'll try again. There, I've just posted it 3 times in a row.
Sometimes it doesn't go through.
Yeah, go figure. But you guys managed to get it because you're here.
Yeah, it just scrolled up.
Yeah. Some people don't get a chance to go up that high because they're a stream. Sometimes mine doesn't do it. And still, the link has not came through yet.
You can't see any of the links I just posted?
Not in the StreamYard.
All right, let's try this. Here, guys. I'm posting it in the private chat. If one of you guys or actually, let me see. Positive Candor, are you a mod on my?
I'm not.
Oh no.
I know I am not. So let's see. Positive Candor. Have you typed in yet?
I'll put it in a little message. Hello, something like that.
Type in hello.
I'm looking for you. Okay, so
Nope,
I'm shocked. All right, well, let me. All right, you're a mod now. Try it again.
Okay, let me copy that first. Copy, and then I'll post it.
And we'll see if I don't know what it is.
There it is. How about that?
Darth Raven said, "Anti-tracker, I will join later to derail your stream with my electric sectionist. I don't think your stream can hold it right now."
Darth Raven, you're just freaking nuts. But no, you can come join us but we're talking about the Mandalorian. We're not talking about your weird, bizarre stories of Irish insanity. Tom, I'm not seeing Positive Candor's copy of the link. I'm not. Okay, let's do this. Hold on.
It's not working.
I posted it in there.
It's not up
you
there.
could see it, but just like I could see it when I posted it.
I don't see it in the StreamYard or YouTube. Weird. I'm looking, and I'm on live chat.
Here's what I'm doing. We're gonna make this work. Okay. So
did that work that time? There we go. I think it worked that time.
No, I'm still not seeing it.
Nope.
It takes a couple of seconds.
However, if you refresh the live stream, you should now see the link in the description. Try it. See, please, somebody tell me it worked.
I'm about to check.
Let's see.
StreamYard. Okay,
so it's the link in the description now.
Correct, it works.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just checked it out. It works.
So there you go. So you can now join via the link in the description because the stupid ass.
Yeah, don't like me.
Damn YouTube. Doesn't like.
I think YouTube. I don't know what it is. I think YouTube doesn't like us using StreamYards. That's what it is.
Anyway.
Honestly, you know how Google is, and the funny thing is, I think Google's going to be going down soon. I really do.
So you switching to Lighthouse or whatever then?
I've reached out to them. I'm interested in talking to them. Oh, there's some LD.
Hey.
Okay. Consider this a reprimand from the nerd community, LD, for putting out the spoiler about Luke at 3:00 in the effing morning before anybody had a chance to see it. That was wrong.
Oh,
no, don't be laughing. Don't be laughing. That was wrong, dude.
I was. You're right. My first spoiler video. My apologies. I made adjustments as soon as it was brought to my attention. But for the record, I was only like the 100th person who did it. I wasn't the first.
Right, but you're the only one in the nerd community that I know that did it. So that's why I'm getting on you about it. When I'm talking about the nerd
corrections.
community, when I'm talking
I
about
made
the nerd
corrections.
community, you know who I'm talking about. I'm not talking about Nerdrotic or any of those guys. All right, we're talking about
Well,
the
local.
real,
Yeah,
the real
local.
authentic
Uh-oh.
nerds like those in
I
this chat.
apologize.
All right,
And
no more of that.
Bird says
I apologize.
you ruined it for him.
Anti-tracker, sir.
Hey, Bird, if you haven't seen it by now, if you're just pirating it anyway, I don't care. But if you, hey, I mean, I'm sorry. I know Bird can afford Disney Plus. And Sean, thank you so much. Puts a couple of pounds in. Says, I cried. Yes, cried at The Mandalorian. Amazing. Oh, I did too. Mrs. Antricker was laughing. Mrs. Antricker was laughing her ass off at me because I got so teary-eyed over Grogu's departure at the end of that episode. And so...
I thought
The same thing for Joy too.
Yeah.
Anti-tracker.
Yes.
I really, when I saw it, I don't know, 12 hours ago, before Captain Shrek went online, I was like, I was checking Twitter and everybody was already starting to spoil stuff. I was like, okay, shut down, watch the show. And I'm watching it and I'm loving it. I'm like, okay. I'm like, no way. No, they're not going to do it. I'm like, no, they're not going to be able to pull this off. I'm like,
yeah, I didn't think they had the balls to do it.
cloak, green lightsaber, glove. Oh my God. The payoff, I was like, holy shit.
I mean, they just faked it. So, I mean, it's not like it wasn't possible.
LD, it's we know that it's possible. It's the fact that they did it. It's not a matter. I mean, like, look, it is entirely possible that the next episode of Star Trek Discovery is going to fix everything, and it's going to look like Star Trek: The Original Series. That's possible. They absolutely could do it, but they don't have the balls to do it. Right? Just like when we think about the reaction, not just the extremists and the fandom menace, but the entirety of the nerd community when we saw old man hermit Luke Skywalker, when we saw the butchering of that character, when we were looking forward to for decades to seeing Luke Skywalker Jedi Master, and we never got it until this morning.
Yes, we had a Dunlap.
I'm sorry, I gotta go batshit crazy. We got it.
Yes,
that was Luke.
That's what we,
Master.
you know.
To see.
I'm sorry. I literally got teary-eyed.
It's all right, nobody. I get it. I did too.
Batshit crazy, but oh my God, I was like, no, don't. I thought they were jerking me off here. I was like, no. Right,
I thought the whole thing was going to be a fake out.
They jerked you off.
Oh no! When I saw the glove, and the green lightsaber and the hood, I was like, oh no! They're really. Are they going to? Are they really going to give me this?
Yeah.
I about broke down crying like a bitch.
And that's the thing.
Not sorry to say that.
And
that's what?
You watch the end credit scene.
Yeah, the end credit scene was good.
No, I haven't seen it yet.
I didn't watch it until just a few minutes ago. It is
an end credit scene.
It's not as mind blowing as the Luke Skywalker reveal, but go ahead and take a minute, watch it now, and then let us know what you think, because it is actually some pretty good stuff in there.
Well,
before my video post. No, I'm joking.
And, oh my
I'm
God.
surprised you didn't post one already.
All right, I'm gonna watch it. Let me.
Just don't let us hear the audio, please. I don't want to get struck for it.
Yeah, post credit scene. You gotta watch it.
Anyway, So, but the thing about it, LD, is that they, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, they care about the brand, and they know how much the brand has really suffered in the last few years, and they gave the fans not just what they wanted, because I mean, let's be real, if they really gave the fans what they wanted, then we'd see like Luke showing up and like doing backflips and fighting Jedi Masters or Sith Lords and stuff like that. That would have been stupid, but that's what the fans would have wanted, right? Mm-hmm. And so it wasn't just about giving some fan service; it was about giving honor to the character of Luke Skywalker.
It was great.
Yeah.
I mean, Star Wars got that. Trek fans got PICARD. Yeah, totally. I'm jealous. I'm actually jealous for Star Wars fans. That what they did to you guys last night was awesome. Yeah.
You didn't know that was Mark Hamill?
Yes. Yeah. It was Mark Hamill.
Yeah. I mean, it was.
Well, it certainly wasn't LDG.
No,
yeah, it wasn't me. Yeah.
Could you imagine you see Luke Skywalker in LDG's voice like, "Hey, how you doing?"
You know what? Someone just gave me an idea.
Oh, jeez.
It wasn't Gilbert Godfrey either.
Yeah. Hey, everybody! I'm calling about the Jedi.
I'm here for the cat.
Save their ass, and then he just unreveals his face and says, "Who's your daddy?"
So but I love what this sets up for the lore. I think that it makes it so that there is a new world of possibilities in the Star Wars universe. That there is potentially another Jedi Master out there after the sequel trilogy. And they do not, and I'm sorry, I know, I get it as far as people that really hate the sequel films. You guys know that The Last Jedi is the most offensive film in the history of film for me personally. I really, really hate that film. That being said, I'm not asking to retcon it. I'm just asking to make good Star Wars, right? And that's what did.
Now,
that's what they did today.
Can you clarify something on that scene, by the way? Because I'm not exactly your number one Star Wars fan, but I did enjoy the episode. That was actually my second episode of Mandalorian that I actually saw full front to back, and it was good. But just clarify one thing: wait a
minute, that's only the second episode you watched?
Full front to back, yes.
Oh my God! Go back and watch the whole series.
I am hooked now. I'm going to binge watch.
Yeah, but you know the ending. That ruins it. But
unlike, remember, you're talking to somebody who doesn't believe in spoilers. That only makes me want to watch it more, not less. I don't.
Anyway, what's your thing?
My question is, was R2D2 like having it? What was that scene with him and Baby Yoda? Was he like having a freak out? Like when he was, I didn't get that scene. Like it sounded like he was having an overload or something.
No, it's just R2 being R2.
Okay. I didn't know if there was something I missed, or
I think you're just reading deeper into it than it was meant to be. It's just like, hey guys, look, there's R2 and there's Grogu. Isn't that cute?
Gotcha.
I don't think it was anything more than that. However, I do think that they were trying to show, like, R2 was the original concept of cute in Star Wars, and now we got Grogu. And guess what?
That makes sense.
And guess what? Grogu wins that fight every time. I'm sorry. I will say the first three Star Wars films are three of my favorite films of all time. I absolutely adore those films. But Grogu is the cutest thing ever put on film, period.
Yeah, fist bump kid.
Yeah.
I just wish his name was just as cute. Grogu? Yeah,
the name Grogu is kind of lame. I'm not going to lie, but holy crap, is that a cute character. But yeah, I'm overall, I think that the thing that we need to do, and we really need to do this, not just the however many, what do we got watching right now? 35 people watching this stream, but all of us out there that care about this stuff, all of us that have been outraged for the last 5-10 years over the butchering of our franchises, we've got to show this some love. Because if we sit there, and I don't know what people are doing yet. I haven't been surfing YouTube. I don't know what the reaction's been, except that someone told me that Star Wars girl was crying about how awesome it was.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah. But that's what we need.
I was too.
Yeah.
Like
Oh yeah, I'm not.
Did you guys catch that?
We talked about it.
Yeah. By the way, Anthony Trekker,
The one where he said, "See anything cool
I
on
did
TV?"
watch the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. What'd you think of that ending?
Fett.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're gonna get a Boba Fett series, which is nice. That's the way they announced it. That's a cool way to do it. Mrs. Antchecker still doesn't know, so I'm gonna show her that when I have lunch.
Fett.
But
that looks
Luke?
interesting.
You know what? I'm gonna say this: Luke in a freaking TV show was everything I had dreamed of him being a Jedi Master,
right.
and I got it there
Instead of in the movie, we should have gotten that Luke in The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
You're damn right. Yes,
but
sir.
But the thing is that, like I said, we give this show the love it absolutely earned. I think we've got to, because if we do, we're showing the people in Hollywood that this is what we want. We want good, tight storytelling, and that is honoring those characters. Look, you don't have to make it all about Luke, but you just show him for 5 minutes at the end of one episode, and the entire internet is exploding over it.
Oh no, man! I thought
that Force Crush was awesome.
No, this is how
that final Force Crush, that was sick.
No, this is how it was. The X-wing going across. I'm like, she goes, "Oh, one X-winger saved." I'm like, no, they're not gonna do it.
Yeah.
And then it lands, and then I'm seeing lightsaber. I'm seeing cloak. I'm like, cloak. I'm like, no, wait a minute. I recognize the cloak. And then I'm like, oh, green lightsaber. And then when I saw the glove, I was like, no, they're not really. No,
the whole time I was thinking, it's not really going to happen, is it? And
and then, I went nuts. I lost my crap. I was like, when he took the hood off, and I was like, no, you're not really going to do it. you actually expect me to believe you're going to go here. And there he is. And I almost expected to hear, I'm Luke Skywalker here to rescue you. And then I'm not going to say, but you know what? When R2D2 showed up and he did the little things, I lost my freaking mind. I was like, in just a few minutes, you managed to put together the Luke Skywalker I didn't see.
Right. Well, and the thing is, and what Jon Favreau did here, and I know Dave Filoni was a big part of it as well, but what they did was they basically just extrapolated, okay, this is where Luke was at the end of Jedi. This is where he would be a few years later.
Yeah, with the crease, with the little crow's nest right here.
Well, not just physically, but with his force abilities, his confidence in using that, the way that he was just tearing through those droids, where, the Mando himself was an absolute badass. And notice, and I did like the fact that that Moff Gideon even calls him out on it, Mando could barely beat one of them. And now he's going to deal with an entire platoon. And then Luke comes in and he makes Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan his bitches in that. I mean, I'm sorry, but Luke absolutely...
Butter.
I gotta say this. Watching some of the way Luke was going through that was very reminiscent of watching Anakin.
Yes.
And
I think that was intentional.
Yes. And it was like, I was like, oh my God. I mean, I'm sorry. I was like, I held so much in. I was like, please don't do this to me. Tease me and leave me disappointed. And then it's Luke freaking Skywalker. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm supposed to do this on Wednesday, but I'm geeked the fuck out.
NB Geek, you gotta think about this. He's throwing these dark troopers everywhere, left and right. Just a force cross, but you gotta think to yourself, wow, he can do all that, but he still can't lift the damn X-wing out of the swamp.
That's years. It's 4 years later. It's 4 years later. Remember, it's 4 years later.
Did you see that smirk on his face in Skywalker?
No. Remember, only 1 year after Empire Strikes Back to Return of the Jedi. Remember, he knew how to force choke a few Gamorreans. And we saw it.
So, one thing I really liked, I mentioned this earlier in the stream, but you guys weren't all here. So, what I really saw this as, the ending to Mando Season 2, was a bookend with the ending of Rogue One. At the end of Rogue One, we got Darth Vader finally being Darth effing Vader for like 2 minutes, and just being the scariest badass we've ever seen. Now we see exactly what Luke was capable of at the end of this. Man, wouldn't it be awesome to be able to get those two together?
We're supposed to see an epic Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi fight in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series.
I'm looking forward to Obi-Wan, and I think of all the new series they've announced, I think Obi-Wan is the one I'm looking forward to the most. Mainly because Ewan McGregor is the right age. I'm assuming that they're going to have Darth Maul be the big bad of the series. Which it would just make sense.
Even with Rebels.
Yeah,
I don't know. Well, I mean, it depends on. I mean, how hard are they going to take the canon? I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm saying, because we know how it all
that's the problem. We don't know, because the nice thing about it, as far as from their perspective, is they can follow what they did on Rebels, or they can choose to ignore it.
Somebody's knocking on your back door, MC Tucker.
Let's see. Thank you.
Raven brought pizza. Pineapple.
Okay.
Pineapple and a mushroom.
Might as well bring him in. The stream's going to end in a minute anyway. How you doing?
Pineapple and mushroom pizza. Ooh.
How are you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Did you watch The Mandalorian yet?
Of course I did.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if it's even available in your part of the world.
It's available at 8 in the morning over here, the same time as it drops in America, and I watched it live. But from what I heard,
we don't know what 8 in the morning is for you. That's different for us.
Yeah.
I mean, 8 in the morning for you. I mean, you got to remember, we got 4 time zones just in our continental United States. Sorry, Revan.
Yeah, that's basically the same time there, NB. 8 in the morning for him is like 3 in the morning for us.
But
that'd be about the time that certain people were out there trying to spoil it for everybody. Yeah, go ahead, Darth.
Yeah, from what I heard, Darth Vader is actually going to play a large part in the series. Now, I don't think that Maul could, because if you look at Rebels, Maul did not find Kenobi until the moment that Maul dies. That is the hold on. Alex, you want to say something?
No, I'm talking to somebody else. Sorry. Hey, I have to drop out. Someone just got my backstage. Got to help them out.
That's okay. We're gonna be wrapping up in a minute anyway.
I just wanted to let you know real fast. This whole YouTube blocking our channel host from even putting links in the chat.
Yeah.
Anti-Tracker, you got Stream Deck. Use the plugin that uses the YouTube API to input anything you want into your YouTube chat, and it won't get blocked whatsoever.
You'll have to show me how to do that one of these days, because I have no clue. But not right now.
It's real easy. Some other time, hit me up. Sorry, guys. Take care. And I apologize, guys. That won't happen again. I'm sorry.
Live long and prosper, buddy.
So,
all right. So
Maul only found Kenobi when he died, right?
We see now. I haven't watched Rebels, so I don't know much about what happens there.
Okay,
but my whole thing is hold on, Revan. I get where you're going as far as it's basically is it a canonical issue to have Obi-Wan fight Maul before they fought in or after? What's the time frame for when Maul dies in Rebels?
Maul died
from
very shortly before.
Well, Obi-Wan kills him. Number one.
Right, but I'm saying,
I was
but
gonna go
when?
there, but
hold
what I
on,
was going to
NB,
say
am
was
I'd
it's
say about a month.
actually very early on in Luke's life. And Luke is not even a teenager.
So what's to say that the Obi-Wan series won't simply be a live action adaptation of that?
Well, here's the thing. The reason why that would be an issue is because it wasn't until very late that Maul found out where Obi-Wan was. He didn't even know Obi-Wan was alive after the Purge. So it wasn't until he found out in Rebels that he was alive, and that's where he went to go get his vengeance. So
Right, but
and
my
that
point
was
being is
towards
that
the end of his that was towards the end of his life.
right,
Yes.
but if this Obi-Wan series is simply a retelling or a reimagining, if you will, of the final Obi-Wan Darth Maul confrontation.
No,
No.
it takes place 10 years after Return of the Jedi. I'm sorry, 10 years after A New Hope.
Hold on, there is
You're
a
saying
line.
Obi-Wan does, or you're saying that that Rebels does?
Obi-Wan Kenobi series takes place 10 years after
that would not make sense because
Okay,
it would
sorry.
have to be before A New Hope because he dies in A New Hope.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, but what
sorry.
you're saying is Rebels takes place over the 5 years before the Battle of Yavin.
Yeah.
But it ends before
Rise
the
of the
Battle of
Sith.
Yavin, but then there's an epilogue that talks about the Battle of Endor.
Which
And
takes place, I would give that kid to be about 3 years old, possibly 2.5.
Thank you, John DeMarco. I was having a brain fart this morning. 10 years after Revenge of the Sith.
Okay.
Thank you.
That makes a little more sense.
Yeah.
So
Actually,
Luke was 10 years old, basically.
Yeah,
Yes.
but actually, Anti-Tracker, there's actually a line in Rebels that says, freaking Leia's dad says, I've been working with a Jedi for years, and he has been working with the Rebellion for years, and it's Obi-Wan.
Right.
Which
Well,
means
we knew that Organa was. I mean, because even in the New Hope, Leia's like, "Oh, years ago you served my father in the Clone Wars." I mean, it's not like we knew that they had a relationship.
yes, they did, but he was one of the only. Remember, Revenge of the Sith really sent that home where they had the connection together, where they separated the children. You got to remember, we're talking Leia is, well, a very strong woman, but very arrogant, or sorry, not arrogant, ignorant of the past. She may know they served together in the Clone Wars, but I doubt very much she ever knew what capacity.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is a lot of it is all retcon anyway, because, I mean, look at just from what happened in the original Star Wars compared to what everything evolved into over time.
That always confused me because of the line. Do you remember your mother? Very small bit.
Right. Does she remember? Oh, very, I've just feelings merely. You mean like the feeling that she was dying while you were being born? Is that the feeling you were remembering? But
who's to say maybe she just misremembered? Maybe she thought that was.
It could have been a nanny or something like that, and she thought it was her mom.
But she was royalty.
Yeah, look, I'm sorry, but I'm always the one who's going to say when it comes to the children thing like that, I'm going to go with the simplest conclusion. Who's to say she didn't remember? Who's to say it was just a nanny or something else?
Well, whoever writes, if they ever do a movie that takes place during that time, we'll find out.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, that could have been built upon on the sequel trilogy where maybe they found out about Padme and Anakin and, all that stuff. But, of course, they didn't.
They could have even said that Palpatine, or maybe even another Force user, was influencing Leia's mind by pretending to be Padme.
But it doesn't matter, though. That's the ultimate thing and I don't know how we got down this rabbit hole about Padme and Leia and all that, but the main thing is that as far as if they bring in Darth Maul, because they've already hinted at Darth Maul at the end of Solo, and
Well,
honestly, that was one of the very few good things about that movie.
I disagree with you.
You like Solo?
I absolutely like Solo.
Okay,
I
well,
don't have an issue with it.
It was
Here's
okay.
why. Here's why.
Solo was kind of meh to me.
Yeah.
And
Solo, in my opinion, was very well done. Very Star Trek. Very.
It was very Star Trek, not Star Wars at all.
When you write on there, sorry. Very Star Wars. Very kind of Western. And I really, once I had enough stupid sense to turn my brain off and say, okay, this guy is not, Alden Wright is not playing Harrison Ford. Alden Wright is playing Han Solo. I need to remember this. And once I really did it and I watched the show and got into it, I was like, I really believe this was a young Solo. And I'm not going to lie. You know what I love the most? Chewbacca got the most fucking acting time in the prequels, the sequels, the original. It was the best I ever got to see Chewbacca. So,
I have a question for you.
AT. Hang on a second. Entry checker. Thomas Potts said, please check Skype. I was waiting until you finished and went to this killing and MBD talking, so
I have a question for you girls.
Oh, I do see it. Thank you, Thomas. I am so sorry. I don't know how I missed that. 9 minutes ago, Carl donated $1. You guys do know who Carl is, right?
No.
Oh, Carl is the Guardian of Forever.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we find out that, the Guardian of Forever's name is Carl. He's a middle-aged fat man that likes to read newspapers and sit in loungers. Anyway.
Didn't I say that they should ask the Guardians about what happened to the burn before the episode aired?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that would have been a great question for him. Yeah. Hey, so, Guardian, since, you're all doing stuff for us now, and, I'm going to save it for the show tonight. We'll wait till tonight. Anyway, Carl says...
I tweeted that 2 weeks ago.
So Carl donated $1. Said, "Please step through my door. I will judge you and see if I will fix your various body problems." And that is true. That's what Carl, the Guardian of Forever, will do. Is apparently Dr. McCoy didn't do so well in his judgment, but yeah. Carl.
Oh, I have a question for you.
Thank you, Carl. I'm so sorry for missing that, Carl.
How do you feel about Luke taking Grogu?
It makes sense. I'm for it.
Yeah.
Because I think that A, Luke is the only person qualified to train Grogu, and B, that means that after the sequel trilogy, there's a Jedi Master out there.
Do you think that...
I'm going to be honest. I was thoroughly happy that it was Luke. Because I literally it was, when it was shout out to a Jedi Master or a Jedi, I was like, in my mind, I'm just thinking, no, they're not going to do Luke Skywalker. I mean, that's what I wanted. Was like, well, who's going to train Grogu? I was thinking Jedi Master, Luke Skywalker, but I'm thinking, no, they won't go there. And then, the payoff, that's why I said the hood, the green lightsaber, the glove.
I was waiting for a purple lightsaber, okay?
No, as soon as I saw that X-Wing, I'm like, wait.
I want to see Windu.
Wait a minute, that's Skywalker.
Windu is dead. Get over it.
Yeah.
Did he survive the fall? It was never mentioned.
The only person who ever suggested that Windu survived that fall is Samuel L. Jackson. Gee, I wonder why.
But Do you think that they're going to use this somehow and the Ahsoka series to get rid of... no, Anti-Tracker is going to say no. To get rid of the sequel trilogy?
No.
Told you.
Well, you're right. I don't think that, you know what? I know that's I'm sorry. It's wishful thinking. They're not going to sit there and say, okay, guys, the sequel trilogy never happened because you guys were mad. That's not going to happen.
So if Luke was training Grogu, that means he's dead.
Anti-Tracker, can I give you my theory on how they might be able to try and bridge this piece? This is just my thought. Sure. And it's the more...
You can always give your idea. It doesn't mean it's right.
Okay, think about this. We have the sequel trilogy, right? Okay. It's done. We have Rogue One, we have Solo, we have what's coming out. Is it possible that maybe with the way they put Luke in today, that they're trying to maybe do some retconning to where maybe by the time we get to that point where Luke is on the island with Rey as an old curmudgeon, is subterfuge. Yes, I know that may be a stretch, but I'm just saying it's not beyond the realm of possibility.
I have a weird idea.
That maybe Luke had a few contingency plans. Just saying.
I think that it's possible. The one thing you could kind of retcon into the way that Luke ended up in The Last Jedi is that what Rey didn't know is that Luke had trained another Jedi, and that he was still safely hidden away, so that no matter what happened with Rey, there was still at least one more Jedi. Which also adds to when he told Kylo that I will not be the last Jedi, because Kylo doesn't know about Grogu.
That's what I was going to ask about. Never mind. You just mentioned that.
I had an idea.
Sound like I just thought about that.
I just had an idea of a contingency plan. Let's say that Luke trains Grogu or another Jedi or something like that. Okay.
Well, it's a given that he's training Grogu even as we.
I'm just saying another Jedi, right?
Right.
And Luke's like, you are as trained as I am. You know all these techniques to follow the Force. Why don't you go to this planet and bring half the order? I feel a shadow growing. I do not know what is going to happen, and I don't want the Jedi to fall again. Then they go, Luke's Jedi Academy falls, because remember, they didn't call it the Jedi. They always refer to it as Luke's Jedi Academy, which to me means there's another one out there somewhere.
You see, that was always the thing. I never believed, and this is coming from someone who read so much EU, that after a certain amount of time, there's no way Luke would not have separate Jedi Academies. He is not that stupid.
Well, but keep in mind that the EU does not count as much as I know you love it. So we can't... no, not yes, but it's just yes.
No, I'm not talking about the EU.
I understand what you're saying. What I mean from when it comes to a training perspective, 20-year military person here, you don't just have one training facility.
Right, but the problem is that the Star Wars saga was not written by 20-year military vets. The Star Wars saga was written by people who were barely competent at writing fantasy at all, so let alone anything having to do with military.
Here's an idea for you.
Yes.
I don't mean military, I just mean military kind of,
and besides, the Jedi are more like a religious order than a military organization anyway.
Okay,
no, the Jedi are very
it was based on a Western, okay? It was Western in space. Western is
the Jedi aren't based on a Western. They're based more on a samurai order than they are based on anything from the old West.
So, guys, you guys are religious enough yourselves, right? Would it not make sense that? I'm just saying, would it not make sense if it's based on, as you said, based on religious order, with a military aspect to it. Let's say that Jedi Master Passe has disagreements with something that Luke is teaching, right? So he takes a
Right.
load of Jedi who follow him, and they go off
Yeah.
somewhere.
And hence Ireland is born. Yes.
Wait, what?
The followers are let out.
Yeah, you know. That's
Look,
where the undesirables always end up in Ireland. So yeah.
No, that's Boston. Dude.
Anyway, no. The thing is that the reason I pointed out it's more like a religious order is think about a Buddhist monk. That's more like the Jedi than say a marshal in an old town. In fact, like if you look, I mean, if you want Western in space, that's what Mandalorian is all about. Right, and the Jedi are just known as these weird sorcerers from somewhere. They didn't even realize the Jedi weren't a species.
Anthony Trevor, I
yes.
was kind of thinking about something here.
What's that?
Think about this. There's been, a lot of anger about the sequel trilogy, and
really, I hadn't heard. Just kidding. All right, go ahead.
Sir, may I finish? What about the fact that maybe, and I am really trying to stretch this here, but maybe I'm getting hope. Maybe they're going to try and use these series to actually make the sequels make sense for us.
No.
Through this source. Now,
I think there's better possibility of that than for them to just say the sequels didn't happen. I think trying to retcon some of the stuff just to make it so that it makes a little more sense. Sure.
Well, they
sorry,
have
exactly, sir. That's exactly where I was going.
Right. They did since the Rise of Skywalker. MB Geek. Since the Rise of Skywalker, we had this huge hole that and all these questions like, okay, how did this happen? What happened here? What led to this? That's why they have all these three shows that are coming together that takes place in the same time frame to help answer these questions and fill these holes that we have. Like, okay, how did this new order start out? What's the basis of this thing? Why did they do this? What led up to this thing?
The sad problem
when it comes to Star Wars, this is new to Star Wars.
Yes.
I mean, this is new to Star Wars, so yes, it's starting to fill in the gaps. Absolutely, Elihu. And I'm enjoying it. I mean, shoot, I lost my shit when it was Luke. So, yeah.
And as far as
oh my God, there's hope.
Well, and let me say this: as far as trying to make more sense out of the sequel trilogy, using what they're working with now, right? Mm-hmm. If you really want, and they don't have to get really blatant with it, they can stay subtle, and that's perfectly okay, because I don't think we need to explain every little detail of everything. But if we consider the fact that the entire thing that Gideon was trying to do was to get the blood of Baby Yoda because he has a high midichlorian count, and couple that with the fact that his doctor science guy that was working with it was, as I said in this last episode, is a known cloner.
Well, I knew that by itself.
And now we got, another Palpatine coming later on. Okay, maybe this was where that came from, right? And and I'm okay with that.
You know what I love? Now I'm thinking, okay, they're trying to make it to where we can go from the prequels, the originals, the sequels, and the in-betweens, and have that. Now they're trying to figure out a way to make it like, oh, okay, we're going to be able to accept this. That's what I really think. That's what I think they're trying to do. I'm not saying there's an apology. I think they're trying to really be like, okay, shit went wrong.
Right. How do we fix it? How do we make this make sense?
The problem is,
and I really, really think, especially after watching this last Mandalorian episode, they are really trying to say, we're sorry, we're doing everything we can to fix it. We can't take away the last 3 episodes of the sequels, but they might be able to make a way for us to have an alternative perspective, alternative episodes, and be like, oh, now it all makes sense. It was alternative. It was this. Do you guys get where I'm going with that?
I think it
No.
makes sense.
Sad fact is, the sequel trilogy is not episode 3. You cannot slap a Clone Wars in to make episode 3 a lot better. Right? It don't work like that, because the movies, as movies themselves, are incoherent, jumbled mess. I mean, if you say, oh yeah,
I wouldn't say they're incoherent. I would just say that they're inconsistent with what we got before.
But if you also say, oh yes, Rey was trained, that's swinging, crap like that, and then the last movie, from what I saw of it, I'm sorry, there's no series in the world that can make that better. What I think they might be doing is, I think they might go, guys, okay, we can't give them the sequel trilogy that they wanted. Let's give them the TV shows that they want, so we can have the Reylos.
Let me ask you this, Revan, because
yes?
you said what you saw of the movie. Did you not watch the whole thing?
I am refusing to watch episode 9.
Okay, well then that's your loss, because episode 9 is probably the best of the sequel films once you get past that horribly edited first act. And I mean, the first act is an absolute mess as far as the editing, but it actually does try to make sense out of what Rian Johnson did. And is it 100% successful? No, but it's as far as how the flow of the sequels went, I think that with what he had to work with, he did an okay job.
Andrew Trekker, here's my, when it comes to the...
Make it quick, because Mrs. Anti-Trekker's mad at me for going too long. So.
When it comes to the sequels, I don't hate them. I actually don't disagree they're Star Wars. They're very much Star Wars. They're not Skywalker Star Wars. And I think that's where they tried to do it, but they failed. Because Mandalorian, that's not. Clone Wars, yes and no. Rebels, not so much. But this was like they were trying to make us think, oh, this was going to be a Skywalker thing. And I think they misunderstood where they were going there.
Right. I do think that they missed a lot of opportunities with the sequel films. That obviously Star Wars is in better hands with what we've got going right now on Disney Plus. And obviously, I think the big problem was Kathleen Kennedy. I think more than anything else.
I never noticed something. One detail that they changed.
What's that?
They changed the color of the words.
From green.
Well, they made it. You mean the rainbow text at the beginning,
yes,
or you
it's gone. In the
I
last episode, the rainbow text was gone.
Yeah, and it says Star Wars.
Yes.
I did not notice that. Anyway, guys, I do need to go because, like I said, I'm late for lunch. So I'll be doing another live stream in a few hours. But thank you, all of you that joined us. And you guys are welcome to come back tonight for the Untitled Show about nerdy stuff if you're awake. If you're not awake, well, then you're probably Irish. And you have a good one, guys. And...